The, the afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to our next session. Our next episode in our little conference. Our webinar is our speaker will be Dene Botha. Dene is a influencer based in Cape Town. He's the head of the company Pride Factor, and I'm going to hand you over to Dene. Welcome, Dene.
Thanks, Eugene.
Cool. I'm gonna leave you. I'll be your moderator. So, guys, again, just to remind you that the chat is currently private, so we'll only see it. I'll be moderating for Dene, and yeah, please get involved. Give us a thumbs up on your chat apps. If you're on mobile, there's a little button, and if you're on your PC, you'll see it's an obvious chat app. So, cool, Dene, take it away.
Cool. Thanks, Eugene. Firstly, hello everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Well done to you for taking advantage of this opportunity. First thing I'd like to get out of the way straight away is the elephant in the room. My name is Dene. It is not Dene or Dene or Mevrou Botha, which I get often. It's spelled D-E-N-E, but it's just kind of my mom messing with me from date number one. So yeah, Dene is my name. Anyway, so let me start off by asking you guys a question, and the question will just come up in the polls there. Do you have kids? How many of you have children, or who of you have kids? Please do let us know. I love the little poll that we've put together there, which is great. Okay, so we're sitting at, okay, so roughly about 80% of you have got kids. That's fantastic. All right, so let me get straight into that. Do you remember yourself as a teenager? Do you remember yourself as a young adult? Do you remember exams, subject choices, applying for universities, money issues, deciding on work, deciding whether you should go out, deciding whether you should study, go to play your sport, or if you should just go out and party with the rest of them? Okay. My question to you then is, as the one is there, what is the most important thing you want for your kids? Where are we at? Safety, happiness, education, opportunity, or financial freedom? Please just pop in there. What do you think the most important thing is for your kids? What's the number one thing that you want? I see that our answers are all over the place, which is good. We will find, and we'll get to the poll later, we'll find that most people would answer happiness though. Happiness is usually the most requested thing or the most wanted thing for young people. Okay, so I'm just trying to build a little bit of a base here. So let's take a look at you. Let's take a look at your kids. Obviously, the title of my talk here is WTF, which is what's the future. So we're going to be talking quite a bit about the kids and about future and about fourth industrial revolution, where the world's going, especially now in the entrepreneurial world, and especially now with COVID-19 looming its head all over us. So if we take a look at the education system as a whole, the 21st education system is not working. It was actually designed for the industrial age. If you think about it, you've got to stand in lines, loud sirens indicate when change of class happens, you're not allowed to talk, you can only leave the room when you're asked, you put up your hand, you pull up your socks, etc., etc. It builds a system of the olden days where people would live from hand to mouth, they would get educated, they would get a job, they would work in a factory their entire life. At the age of 85, they would get about 4 or 5 years to retire, and then most of them would end up dying. The mindset was simple. It was survival. And the skills required for such mindset are self-preservation, tenacity, patience, stamina, keep quiet, don't have a voice, get in line, do your job, sit down, shut up. The irony behind having a stiff upper lip, which is when you actually hold it in. It's an old saying from the war, apparently. And that's how life was. But I'd like to share with you a secret. It's obviously not that new of a secret. Times have changed. The world is a very, very, very different place, all right? And we can welcome this to the digital world. Things will not go back to the way that they were, and things certainly won't go back to the way that they were just before COVID-19. With this lockdown from 2 months ago, the world's a completely different place than it was. So the rate of change at which young people are currently experiencing is a lot more steeper curved than it's ever been before. It's a lot broader than it ever was. The speed at which the world is changing at the moment is absolutely unbelievable. So young people, and maybe just us young at heart people, we need to be groomed to be strong, to be prosperity driven, to be respectful, and to be wise choice making individuals. So what is the difference between now and between back then? Well, it's quite simply the golden little wire that has been placed around the world that connects us all together. It's internet, it's social media, it's connectivity, communication, and collaboration, which again, we thank the wonderful people at We Speak for hosting these kind of events, which speaks to all three of these, doesn't it? So young people, I'm just going to call them young people from now on in, so whether it's you or your kids, we need to learn how to deal with a constantly changing world. All right, so kids, us, we need to learn how to deal with things like change, like EQ, like communication skills, like digital literacy, how to deal with failure, and certainly how to have confidence. Now, one of the bad pieces of news that I do have to give you today, if you do have kids and you're listening to this on their behalf, is according to our research, a lot of kids don't want to hear this advice from you. They want to hear it from outside parties. Dad is dad, mom is mom, but education usually comes from an outside party. So this is what we do at Prime Factor. We remove you, to be completely honest. We build trust with young people by inspiring, guiding, and mentoring them, by having highly interactive and up-to-date and educational edutainment-based events. We inspire, guide, and mentor these young people through live events as well as online academy, which we launched a couple of days ago. And we're very excited to announce that. So I'll get more into that a little bit later on. But before I go any further, let me give you more of a bit of an introduction on myself. So as I said, my name's Dene Botha. I run Pride Factor in South Africa. I run Inspired Youth in Kenya, and we've just launched Empowered Youth in the UK. I'm the managing director. But what else do I do? Well, let me tell you a story. From the age of about 12 years old, I've been entrepreneurially minded. I have tried my hand at just about everything under the sun. I know everyone feels that way, and there's my little list below. When I was 13 years old, my mother put me on a stage and got me into acting. When I was about 5 years old, my father got me into surfing, and I went down both those paths throughout my life. Surfing and acting have been a major part of my life. When I was about 15 years old, I became a waiter. When I was 17, I was a barman. When I was 17, I also dropped out of school, which is rather ironic considering now I am a university lecturer. So when I was 17 years old, I dropped out of school. I'd saved up enough money to buy myself a one-way ticket to London. I went there and I tried my hand at everything. I was a barman, a waiter, a shelf packer, a street sweeper. I actually applied for clinical trials until the day before the trial and then decided to pull out. I got a little bit scared there. I became a security guard. I'm a qualified bouncer. I'm a real estate agent, a driving instructor, a salesman, you name it. I then got into lifeguarding. I got into surf coaching, obviously down in Newquay. Came back to Cape Town, tried my hand here, nothing really worked, and went back and forth from Cape Town to London for a period of about 4 years. I went summer, 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 and it was wonderful. Obviously, when we were young, it's easy, you know? No responsibility. Responsibility is just a four-letter word back then. Time went on. When I was about 28 or 29 years old, I'd come into somebody and I'd met a girl. Oh, I'd met a girl. And I'd actually shot a TV commercial for Ford Ranger. I'd met a girl, shot a TV commercial, and I thought she was the one. So I bought a diamond ring and I bought 2 tickets to Bali for 2 weeks, all expenses paid, 5-star, the whole lot. And me, ring, and said girl went to Bali, and I came back single. Yeah, I can see you're all giggling amongst yourselves now. But it actually gets a lot worse than that. I managed to lose my girl, my house, my car, and my job in the space of 11 days. Not a word of a lie. And it broke my heart and tore me apart. I must be completely honest. But during that time, I learned a lot of lessons. They say that pain is the ultimate teacher. And I think that's one of the reasons that I do this talk in What's the Future, because pain is the ultimate teacher. And a lot of our young people need to learn how to deal with failure. So while picking up my pieces of my broken life at the age of 29 or 30 years old, it was all a blessing in disguise. I managed to get myself into Forex trading. I managed to start emceeing music concerts like the picture that was previously there. This is Rocking the Daisies and things like that. I landed 4 TV shows, one with Trevor Noah, who went on to become uber famous and kind of left me behind. I then got into surf organizing. I then got into public speaking. I worked with Tony Robbins, Jordan Belfort, Steve Wozniak, a couple of other famous people, from Greg Secker to Andy Harrington, honed in my public speaking skills, and then came up with the idea one day out of an epiphany, of which was the person on stage is boring and old and has no motivation in him, and the guys in the audience look like they're too late for a lifelong change. So the idea of Pride Factor was born, whereby the person on stage would be an influencer or a celebrity or role model that these young people can look up to, the aspiration. And the people in the audience would be young, wanting, content-hungry young people that are looking. So Pride Factor was born, empowered youth and inspired youth have kind of spiraled off of it. And over the next 6 years, we would host events all over the country, all over the world. We've worked with about 57,000 young people and done some amazing things. I'm very proud of what my team and I have managed to achieve, but it came from a lot of pain. It came from a very difficult place. So I just want to kind of put that out there. So as we start this one properly now, all right, so what I'd like to do is understand, write this down. I don't have a poll for it, but what is your state? What is your state of mind? How are you? The most commonly asked question amongst human beings, certainly in greetings, is how are you? All right, so how are you? How are you feeling? The most common answer to that is fine, dead standard, fine, not too great, not too bad, I could complain, but I'm not going to. All right, next question is, so what do you do for a living? Why do we say, what do you do for a living? Well, we want to now put you in a box. We want to identify who you are and what you do. And if you tell me you're an architect, look, in that box you go. If you tell me you're a mountain climber, surfer, coder, what. Whatever you are, that now defines you. That is exactly who you are. So it's not so much about how you feel. It's about who are you and what are you. So if we now look at the future, well, what is the future? Well, it's constantly changing. So we can't really identify ourselves like that. But what we can identify ourselves with is what we believe in. All right. And what do we believe in? Well, it's about self-belief, and it's about having a little bit of confidence. All right. And let me just give you the definition of confidence. If you want to write this down, I think it's golden. Confidence is keeping your promises that you make to yourself. That's what confidence is. It's keeping your promises made to yourself. All right. So if you want to quit smoking, quit. If you want to get fitter, do some more push-ups and eat less. All right. If you want to get more educated, read more, join more podcasts and webinars. Come and join us. But it's about keeping those promises to yourselves. All right. So what we need to do then is we need to change our mindset, and not just our mindset, but if we change our mindset and we fill our cup, we're obviously able to hand it over to our kids, our family, everyone and anyone that we come into contact with. So how do you then change your mindset? All right, there are 4 steps to changing your mindset. And again, please do write this down. I'll share it in the notes afterwards. I'm sure Eugene and We Speak would let me do that. But it's actually 4 very simple steps in order to change anything about yourself or to change your mindset. Number 1, set a goal. All right, what is it that you really, really want? What is something that is achievable? What makes your heart sing? What makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning? What makes you feel like a 6-year-old on Christmas morning? All right. What is that excitement? Set that goal, because if you can do more of that, then your happiness will grow. Right. So number 1, set your goal. Number 2, plan it out with surgical precision. Okay, so start plotting it. If it is to own a yacht, you're going to need to get your skipper's license. You're going to need to get your debt. You're going to need to earn X amount. So plan it out with surgical precision. Don't put any limitations to it, but plan it out with surgical precision. Number 3, commit. Close the door and lock the door behind you. Commit, all right? Take action. Okay, by being here today in this very chat room, you are taking action. So give yourselves a round of applause, but you need to take more action. Okay, so when you commit, what you usually do is you put a piece of pain behind you. That's why a lot of people, and sorry to bring up money, pay deposits for things. If you've committed to learning how to play guitar, Go and book 12 lessons and pay the deposit. I guarantee you'll be going to those lessons. But if you don't pay the deposit, you've always got that little excuse to, well, yeah, I might do it now, I might do it next week. So take action, be decisive, commit to it, all right? And number 4 in your 4 steps to change is get around path walkers, all right? Get around like-minded people. And again, by being here in this very webinar right now, you are surrounded by like-minded people. There are a lot of like-minded people listening to this at the same time. So again, kudos to you. But it's quite simple. All right. Number 1, set your goal. Number 2, plan it out with surgical precision. Number 3, commit and lock the door. Number 4, get around like-minded people and make sure they are similarly like-minded people. As I say, if you want to be a pilot, don't hang around at an airport. You hang around at a flying school. Pilots don't hang around at airports. Tourists do. So it's just that little mindset. It's just a little quote for you. Okay, so if we look at some of life's paths, all right, I've got some bad news for everyone, all right, and please don't hate me for this. I have some bad news for you, and that is, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to say this to you. Okay, let me try it anyway. You're all going to die one day. Sorry, we're all going to die one day. Okay, we are. That's exactly what it is, all right? But what it is, and this is why we call ourselves Pride Factor, is when you get to the end of your life, on your deathbed, all right, which is ideally, let's be honest, you lying in a hammock on a Caribbean island, surrounded by palm trees, that last pina colada, Bob Marley playing in the background, family all around you, sun setting, nice warm conditions, and that's how you want to fade off, okay? When you get to that point in your life, hopefully it is like that, you want to look back on your life with a sense of pride. Okay, I've actually got it tattooed on my arm. I believe in it so much. You want to be proud of what you've done. You want to be proud of decisions that you've made, the impact that you've made, the change, the mark you've left on the world. What is your legacy project? What have you done for your family, your friends, other people around you? So it's about being pride. That is your pride factor. Now, obviously, we can't tell where it is that we're going to end up. But what we can do is we can see that the dots only connect themselves when you look backwards. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for the fantastic quote. You can only connect the dots of your life when you look backwards, guys. So the only way that we can predict what it is that we're going to do forward thinking is if we make the right choices and make good choices throughout our lives. And when we break down pride, we actually break it down into our 5 pride principles. Again, you can write this down if you want to. We take it P-R-I-D-E. Forgive me for not putting it on the slide. P-R-I-D-E. P stands for prosperity. What do we all want out of life? We all want prosperity. Be it happiness, abundance, wealth, success, money, travel, whatever it is. We want our version of prosperity. Okay. R stands for respect and responsibility. If you want respect, you've got to give respect. And we are all responsible for our own lives. You are responsible for your own life. You are responsible for the way that you look, the way that you act, and certainly for your finances. A good friend of mine once said to me, Dean, if you are born broke, it's not your fault. If you die broke, it is. You are responsible for your own financial income. Okay, it's only you that can do anything about it. That's P, that's R. I stands for improvement. All right, there's an ancient Japanese philosophy called the Kaizen principle that we believe in. K-A-I-Z-E-N, Kaizen. It stands for the continuous improvement and expansion of oneself. So let's think about that. Constant improvement and expansion of oneself. Okay, so that's your improvement. P-R-I-D. D stands for direction. Now, this we usually use for young people, but when you finish your education, you usually have 4 choices available to you. Number 1, get a job. Number 2, start your own business. Number 3, study further. And number 4, if you are so fortunate, take a gap year and go traveling. Obviously, with the internet and the world that we live in now, you don't need to choose one of those 4 pillars. You can do more than one at the same time. You could be an entrepreneur while working a day job. You could be studying while becoming an entrepreneur. You can do more than one at the same time. And E stands for energy. Everything is energy. All right. It's about how much you give is how much you're going to get. What goes around goes around. Exactly. So those are our pride principles. Now, as we grow older, like I know anything about it, just joking. Does it get easier with age? No, it doesn't. There's not more time available. If you ever think to yourself, well, I can do that next year when I've got more time available. Well, you're only lying to yourself. Time doesn't allow for that, all right? Things don't get easier with age. You will find that more and more and more and more gets packed into your life. More responsibility happens, kids, marriages, divorces, touch wood that doesn't happen. But, to be young and free where responsibility was a 4-letter word, it doesn't quite work like that. So life happens, shit happens. So when's the best time to do anything? Well, now's the best time to do anything. Okay, so why is this so important? Well, for our young people that are going to be the future, that are the future, for our young at heart, for us inside that are also the future, there are 5 of the most common issues facing teenagers and young adults at the moment are the following. Aside from boredom right now, all right, the 5 most common issues facing teenagers and young adults. Number 1, they suffer from a negative body image. Thank you, Kim Kardashian and Instagram, all right? Always comparing ourselves against other people. We suffer from negative body issues. Number 2, we've got peer pressure from school, peers, parents, lack of decent mentors, role models, and heroes. Let me know if you can relate with that. Number 3, they're exposed to extreme behavior, violence, unhealthy social media. Definitely, I see it all over the place. Number 4, they are at risk of mental, physical, and psychological health issues and abuse. Okay, again, internet, good thing, and also there's the dark side of it. And number 5, they're also obviously exposed to unhealthy patterns such as drugs, alcohol, sex, and teenage pregnancy. These are just the issues that young people face. So these are things that we need to be cognizant of and ideally address, but in a very informal manner. Okay. So my question is then, do you ever find that you battle to relate to your kids? Do you battle to relate them? Do you battle to understand them? Well, yes, of course you do. It's because social media has removed their opinions. It's removed their voices, okay? We don't have too many opinions, but we're very quick to watch everyone else's and very quick to justify and to comment on other people's opinions, okay? So we need to know, or these young people need to know which way to turn, all right? So what we're trying to identify here is there a playbook? Is there a blueprint? Is there a guideline to ensure the growth of young people, the improvement, the expansion, so that the young people become the rulers of the world? How do we grow these young people? How do we cultivate them? Okay, well, let me walk you through it. I just have a sip. Okay, that poll's up. Be honest with us, guys. Be honest with us in this poll, please. There we go. That's better. Okay, so how do we form a blueprint for these young people? Well, number 1, we need to plant the roots. Okay, we need to build the roots. It's the preparation. It's the understanding. It's listening. Okay, take the cotton wool out of your ears and put it into your mouth. Listen to your kids. Listen to the young people. They're a lot more clued up and knowledgeable than you'll actually give them an opportunity to be. They really are turned on. They know what it is that's going on. We need to ensure that their foundations are solid. We need to prepare them with emotional intelligence. We need to let them understand that decision-making is up to them. We need to teach them how to be confident. How do you be confident? If you've ever read that book, 12 Lessons in Life, roll your shoulders back. This is how the crustaceans do it. This is how lobsters do it, apparently. Confidence comes from within. All right. Respecting yourself, self-love. These kids need to learn how to deal with failure. Okay. They say that the average adult nowadays will have between 5 and 6 careers in their lifetime. 5 and 6 careers. That means they're going to fail at a lot of things. They need to be able to get up, brush themselves off, and move on with it. All right. They need to be open to kindness. They need to have persistence, and they certainly need to have the right attitude. So that's building the foundation. That's the roots. Secondly, we need to load on top of that our trunk. We need to load strategies, okay? Everyday skills, things like how to absorb information, how to learn and or read quickly, knowing that ideas are currency and therefore strategies are investments. They need to learn skills such as public speaking, personal branding, digital skills, technology, money-making matters and ideas, how to smash their exams, how to nail the job interview, understanding the difference between ego and opinion, how to improve their memory, starting online businesses, investing, etc., etc., etc. So the strategies are things that can be taught. The roots are the fundamentals, all right? And then the third part of that, obviously, are the branches, okay? How to live life how to live a life of purpose. Have fun, enjoy themselves, live life to the fullest, all right, if their roots are stable enough and their trunk is stable enough, the branches can go off in every direction. And this is very important. And then the fourth part of that, obviously, is that the leaves will fall, the leaves will change, seasons will change, experience change, understanding lessons, knowing not to sweat all the small stuff. And again, it is all small stuff, okay? There are two ways, as my father always says, there's two ways to have the biggest tree, Dean, two ways to have the biggest tree. One is nurture yours, water yours, feed yours, listen to yours, grow your body, your mind, and your soul, and let your tree grow to the biggest tree. The other way to have the biggest tree, simple, cut down everyone else's. Just chop him down. And that's what a lot of people do. They go to that place of self-defense, okay? So here's just a little story on what we've achieved recently. I just put it in there just to show that we're not a fly-by-night at Pride Factor. We've done a lot of great things in and around Africa and South Africa. We launched in London a couple of months ago. Work with a lot of influencers and celebrities and rather famous people, not for any more reason than the young people recognize them and like to hear content from them. So if Maps Maponyana or Minnie Dlamini or Questa or DJ Fresh is relaying content over about financial literacy and emotional intelligence, it just resonates with young people that much better. And I'm sure you'll probably agree with that. Another thing that I'd say that I did in my talk in London a couple of weeks ago was that what we learned in Africa is the saying, do you give a man a fish or do you teach a man to fish? Well, I must say what we have learned in Africa is you give a man a fish. You give a man a fish in order to show him why he should learn to fish, so that he knows that there is an incentive, because you cannot teach a hungry child no. You cannot teach an uninspired child anything. If they don't want to know, they don't want to know. They will cut you off faster than anything and return to Instagram where they feel like they belong. All right. So as we say, give a man a fish, let him taste it, let him see why it is that he should learn more, and then teach him to fish so that he knows what the incentive base is there. Right. So these are some of the skills that we use. Okay, so as I say, the things that we don't really, we certainly never learned in school, all right? Superhuman skills, money-making ideas, work readiness, presenting yourself, personal branding. I mean, there's no such thing as personal branding when I was around. So these are the things that we focus a lot of our content, a lot of our energies on. We've got a great course now, not a horse, great course now called Cocooning Like a Boss. I know everyone's jumping onto the COVID-19 side of things, but it's a free course that we run on our platform. But it speaks to young people on how to take advantage of the current scenario that we're sitting in, that we're facing. We've done a lot of research. Again, I'm happy to share this with the We Speak team that you guys can get afterwards. A lot of the research that we found from Monash University, HDI Youth Marketeers, and several other organizations is this is what teens are looking for: discovering life paths. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for paths. They're looking for any kind of guidance out there. What is it that they can learn? Entrepreneurship. They're starting to think about money. They want to know what passion is. They want to start setting goals, but they don't quite know what they are just yet. Students, and this would be our young adults. This is more 18. If teenagers are 14 to 17, this is kind of 18 to 25. So you'll see there's a lot more here revolving around business, revolving around money matters, being an ethical citizen. I love the way that fit in number 12, making sure they've got a decent LinkedIn profile, as I said earlier on, written and verbal communication. So this is us at Pride Factor basically taking the cotton wool out of our ears and putting it in our mouth and asking young people, what do you want to learn? What is it that you want to talk about? We're sick of being, as I said at the beginning of this, just talking heads telling the kids that you must learn this, you must do this, you must do that. Ask them what it is that they want to learn. I'm telling you now, you'll be pleasantly surprised as to what comes out of it. Some of the other things, again, it's more money related, global citizenship, which is great, starting up businesses. And like the ideation of a business would be one thing. It's setting up the business, which is the other. Like, where do you start? Is the first thing you make a logo? That's a question I got yesterday. Is that the first thing I make, a business card and a logo? Or do I actually establish the business? So it's these kind of questions that these young people look forward to hearing or look forward to having answered. Okay, so let me just put this on here as well. All right, is our altitude versus attitude. Our key objectives at Pride Factor is threefold. It's really quite simple. The first thing that we look at is, number one, what is your passion? What makes your heart sing? As I said at the beginning of this, what makes you jump out of bed in the morning? What gets you excited? You know, what do you want to do? In the olden day, you used to have to be a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an architect. Times have changed. You want to be a content creator? Go for it. You want to be an IT guy? Go for it. You want to be a craftsman and make wonderful wooden furniture? Do it. You want to be a dancer, choreographer, a chef, a blogger, a photographer? All of these are highly paid aspirational skills at the moment. So what is your passion? What gets you jumping out of bed in the morning? What is that one thing that you say, oh, I could do this every day for the rest of my life? What is it? Identify it. So number one, identify your passion. Number two, a lot of other people are going to share your passion. So number two, become the best at it. You're going to need to work your butt off. The world is extremely competitive. So you're going to need to become the best. If you've found your passion, you're going to become the best at it. Again, our celebrities and our role models that do these engagements. No, let's say Usain Bolt doesn't look at running as a job, does he? He loves what he does. DJ Fresh loves music. TV presenters love presenting TV. So what I'm saying is, guys that we know as famous and celebrities, they just do what they love and they become the best at it. So the important number three is turn it into your career. Turn it into a lifestyle. Find out how to monetize it. If you can find your passion, become the best at it, well, then what's stopping you from making that your career, making it your lifelong dream? There are some gray areas that don't speak directly to this. I'm not going to go into them right now because we don't have the time, but you certainly can find your passion, become the best at it, and turn to a lifelong career that is extremely fulfilling, extremely rewarding, and certainly gives you the prosperity that you might be looking for. It would set you a goal, you know. So as I was saying in this one, which is what the young people want, all right, I just want to play a quick video for you now as well, is there's two mediums. There's what we can give the young people, and then there's what we can give the young people in what it is that they would like to hear. So I think this video perfectly demonstrates where our world is at the moment. And I think we should be very cognizant as to how young people, well, they do what they can't, don't they? Check this out. There we go.
To the haters, the doubters, my 7th grade vice principal. To everyone who's ever told anyone with a dream they can't. This video's for you. Keep your head down, follow the rules, do as you're told, play it safe. Wait your turn, ask permission, learn to compromise. This is terrible advice. If I were to write an autobiography, a book about my life, one title that would work would be Do What You Can't, because that idea encapsulates everything I've ever done. Like when I wanted to move to New York City and my dad was like, you can't, you don't have any money. Or when I first said I wanted to make movies and it was, you can't, you didn't go to film school. I want to have a TV show, you can't, Casey, you're not pretty enough. And to go even further, like if I were to characterize what this new generation of content creators and filmmakers, what we all do on YouTube and everywhere else is, we do what we can't.
Les 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh my God. You can't be an action movie filmmaker, but you get your parkour friends to dress up like video game characters, jump off some buildings, and you can. Right, Devin?
Yes.
You can't have a talk show, but you have a webcam and you can.
What's up, you beautiful bastards? What?
This is my first YouTube video ever.
Next thing you know, you're interviewing the president.
I heard that you're going to be out of a job soon.
Well, maybe I'll start a YouTube show
That's
or
what
something
I'm
like
thinking.
You can't fly around New York City on a magic carpet, but get your electric skateboard, some PVC pipe, a great outfit, give Jesse a call, and you can. What do you think?
This is gonna be so dope.
You don't need gear, you don't need trucks or a crane, you don't need some big expensive camera rig that never works. When you're a creator, you don't need someone in your ear telling you what you can and can't do. I'm racing the subway! What you can and can't say.
I accidentally did the shocker. Oh my God.
They call us gamers, influencers, internet famous.
What the fuck does that mean?
But we know something they don't. You can start a vlog or a makeup channel. Or travel around the world with a gigantic piano playing in beautiful places for interested people. When you're a creator, all you need is your phone, an internet connection, and a good idea. A story you want to share, something you need to say.
Confidence is within yourself.
And then the rest is history.
76, 78, 79.
If you do it right, you get to quit the day job, make friends from places you've never been, meetups, collaborations.
We're just two boys and two video cameras.
A life moving so fast and so full, you won't even have time to process it. So to my fellow creators, I say, keep creating, keep doing the work.
Hey guys! Au galop sur la plage, moment désertique. Au galop sur la plage.
And never forget, you don't have to listen to anyone, because in this new world, no one knows anything.
Hi, haters.
The haters, the doubters are all drinking champagne in the top deck of the Titanic, and we are the fucking iceberg.
81, 82, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89.
Do what you can't.
Love that video by our friend Casey Neistat. He's actually a good friend of mine from Daniel May. Oh, he's not a good friend of mine. I know of him through Daniel Mays. But that's what young people are doing nowadays, guys. This is what it is. The world's a totally different place as to where it was when we were growing up. And I think we need to accept that and understand it. What is the future? Well, it is whatever we make it to be. It is our young people, though. And it is us, young at heart. There's a lot of change happening, and there's going to be more change happening. But what it comes down to at the end of it is it's all about your attitude. What's the greatest feeling on earth? It's about giving something, all right? Knowing that you have hugely impacted someone else's life. There is no better feeling, unselfishly contributing towards the world. All right. So once this COVID-19 lockdown ends, let's not run back into society and just go and mess it all up again. But let's be a part of someone else's story. It is the greatest gift you'll ever give and greatest thing you'll ever receive. The days of giving your kids watches and iPads and cars. No, give hope, give skills, give education, give wealth, give mindset, give happiness, success, give empowerment. That's what it is that we should be giving. And it's a lot easier for us to do nowadays. So back in the day, we may have all made some bad decisions and not quite had the opportunities that were available to us, but it is available now. And your youngster certainly can take advantage of it. Maybe it's even your youngster, it's your nephew, your niece, your neighbor's child, anyone, any child out there. But be that person. Give empowerment. I implore you, all right? You guys are welcome to reach out to us anytime at Pride Factor. There's my details, Pride Factor SA or Dene Botha SA. I kind of claim the SA side of things. We've just launched our online academy. It's packed with all kinds of courses on there. During the lockdown, 60% of them are for free. So please go and help yourselves and take a look around. We are looking for more content creators. So if anyone's out there wanting to create some content, we've got a production studio. Let us know what it is that you would like to teach. Let's produce it. Let's do a profit share on the other end. Other than that, I'd like to thank the guys at We Speak for this wonderful opportunity. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you for joining us here today. I wish you all the best. I would certainly insist that you get involved with the entire event. Remember why you're here. Take this opportunity with both hands. Enjoy yourselves. And yeah, we'll be on the other side.
Cool. That's wow, Dean, that was flipping amazing. I was moderating at the back and I was pumping up the audio on that on that video of yours. I'm sure you guys will agree that was really a fantastic talk. We're on our 40-minute time slot. So next up, we've got Jody Colby, and he's going to go through how to create a brand that doesn't suck, which is a really funky title. So I'm going to go offline. Thanks, Dean. And then I'll see everyone 2 o'clock. And then once I stop it, it will redirect you to Jody's registration page. Just register, wait in the room, and we'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Dean, fantastic job. Thanks, buddy.
See you there. Cheers, guys.